The opinions expressed during this show are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of their associated organizations or CBGTV.com. The medical and health information shared does not constitute a physician-patient relationship. It is provided for general informational and educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional care. Accordingly, you are encouraged to consult and speak openly with the appropriate care professionals.
Good evening, and welcome to Tokin Talk with me, your host, Reverend Cindy. And I have a co-host this evening. You might recognize him from another show, Mr. Steve Mather. Hello, Steve.
Hello.
How are you?
Awesome. I'm a guest on Tokin Talk.
We finished Mushy Moment earlier, and Steve looked at me about, 10 minutes after that, and he goes, I forgot to do blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, well, what are you doing in 2 hours? And here he is.
I'm doing this. Tokin.
And talking.
And probably talking.
So I do have giveaways. I've got last week's giveaway all ready to go. I've got this week's giveaway ready to announce. But really, I invited Steve on to talk about something that he wanted to talk about this afternoon on Mushy Moment. And he forgot. So yeah, why don't we chat about what you wanted to chat about?
Okay, well, I wanted to put out a recommendation for anybody that might be looking into doing an ayahuasca ceremony or an ayahuasca retreat. Because the friend of mine that I went down to Mexico with to go and do the retreat, and that took me to the retreat, is in Mexico, and there's a retreat coming up. And she's asked if I have any friends, or if you have any friends that would like to go down to the retreat, and they can get a hold of her. And it's there it is. It's Lisa, that's her number, or Lisa Ruckaber at gmail.com. It's the place that I went to do ayahuasca. I did a tobacco ceremony on the Thursday night, and then on the Friday, Friday evening, we did ayahuasca ceremony. Saturday, we went to the cenotes and went swimming and did some awesome stuff in the jungle, and a little bit of integration and chatting and meeting others that are there. And then on the Sunday we did a daytime ceremony, and all of it was incredibly life-changing for me. And I know, a lot of people wonder about ayahuasca and where to go and where it's safe. And this one is safe. It's with really good people. It's an incredible place to have a journey, and the journey is incredible and incredibly healing. Can you bring up the? I don't have access to bring up the thing. Can you bring up the? There it is. So it's the Thursday the 8th through to Monday the 12th, and you'll get the tobacco ceremony, which I gotta say is a heck of a purging. And there we are. So, and you can choose, like, the Sananga is optional. The Sananga is incredible for the vision. There's also Hape that happens there if you so choose to utilize the Hape. And it's an incredibly safe and loving environment with caring people running it. It's in a jungle in Mexico on the east coast side by Puerto Morales. It's very beautiful. You spend a bit of time in Puerto Morales. You go out into the jungle. You do the ceremonies. You got to talk to Lisa as to what she's got planned for it, but you can get a hold of her through that number, or Lisa Ruckaber at gmail.com. But
now these two pages that we are sharing, just so you know, are up on the Mushy Moment page. They're also on Steve's personal page, but if you don't have him on your friend list, you can go to our Mushy Moment page, and both of these pages with her information are posted there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she has a group, Conscious Healing Alternative Travel, as well. Chat Conscious Healing Alternative Travel on Facebook that people can access as well.
Yes.
But the Madre Verde retreat was. I can't wait to go back. Actually, my life at this point isn't granting me the space and time to be able to make that happen. But it was beautiful, and the people there are beautiful, and I love them very much, and I can't wait to get down there to say hello, have hugs, and then go learn more about my journey and what's in the offcoming of my life.
Yeah, because let's just talk about you for a second. You before you met Lisa and ended up in Mexico, you were you used cannabis and mushrooms specifically, and not just psilocybin mushrooms, but a lot of different mushrooms and some nutrients. And before you went down there, you didn't partake in any of these medicines besides the cannabis and the mushrooms, correct?
Correct.
So then you meet this lady, Lisa, and she goes, "Hey, come be crazy and come to Mexico with me." And I've been friends with you long enough to know that you say, "Yeah, sure, okay, let's go." So you say, "Yeah, sure, okay, let's go," and you go down, and you go down with some knowledge of some of the shamans and whatnot, but. Then you get introduced to all of this, which I just think is amazing. And she had been down there to this particular spot before, correct?
No, actually, she hadn't been to this one, but she had done ayahuasca before. So we went down. What ended up happening was I'd been following a shaman in Mexico for a couple of years, and she'd done ayahuasca, and I told her that I'd been, looking to do ayahuasca. I'd been searching for it, and it would appear and elude me, and appear and elude me. And she said, "Well, do you want to go to Mexico? And we'll go do some ayahuasca and trip around, and do some healing." And because she was on her healing path as well, and I obviously said yes, and off we went. But one of the things I said was I follow this shaman, Arturo, and I want to see him, because he does things. He goes into the desert and picks the peyote and does the guided peyote trips. He does wachuma. He does changa. He does lots of healing modalities. And I'd followed him for a couple of years. So we were actually in Mahahual, and he was there. And I did changa with him. I did a couple changa ceremonies, or we did a couple of changa ceremonies with him. We did a couple of sound healing ceremonies with him. And we were lining up to do an Aya ceremony. And again, it just eluded us. It was like, okay, it's going to be, and then it wouldn't happen. And one of the gentlemen that ran a restaurant there, a vegan restaurant, he said, "Hey, I hear you guys are looking for this, and this is what we've been trying to do. And we found this place just not too far from here in Puerto Morelos called Madre Verde, and it's magical, and you should really check it out." And I think that was on the Wednesday, and Thursday we were on our way. Or that was on the Tuesday, and Thursday we were there doing the tobacco ceremony. But it was when the universe says it's time, it rolls, and it just happens. But that was how we found ourselves there. And then I ended up doing 5 ceremonies there over the course of 5 weeks. And Lisa's been back a couple of times there.
Well, it must be amazing enough that if she's gone back a couple of times, but now she's working at promoting them, that says a lot.
Yes, you see a lot of healing happen. You're a part of a lot of healing. You get reflected the healing that you have happening that you might not even see happening, right? And you meet a lot of people that make you feel normal, no matter what your space of weirdness might be. And everybody's looking for the same thing. Everybody's compassionate, has been through their shit, and is just looking to heal and help others heal. And honestly, like, I can't say enough about it. It was life-changing for me. That whole trip was life-changing for me. But the ayahuasca, it opened up a new world and gave me a new vision, so that stepping into the rest of the plant medicine and frog and toad medicine, the other alternative healing medicines, not medicating medicines, but healing medicines. It made it all possible that there was no fear in walking that direction anymore. Right? Like, I'd heard about ayahuasca and I'd read these stories and read blogs, and I'd met people that had done it and talked about it. But we don't have a language that can give any reference to it in a cohesive, logical sounding way. If you want to talk about the experiences, generally end up sounding a little crazy because we literally don't have the language. We don't have a language to properly describe our emotional journey that we go on in this lifetime. And, if we had more words to describe and more nuances, so that people could better understand, it would be a way better world. But I find that anybody that goes through these experiences, even the iboga, you get iboga, you get people that experience mushrooms for the first time. They come back and they try to talk about their experience because everything in their world is now different. Boundaries, fake boundaries that we believed were there are dissolved. They're gone. And then they come back to try to talk about it.
They can't. Oh, it rings so true to me because, like, when I left, you take me back to, like, after my first iboga 5-MeO DMT, and I was still in Vancouver for a while. I still had I had just met you, and I knew Gareth by that point in time, so I still had people while I was there that I could very easily reach out to. You came down and met me at the Amsterdam a couple of times, came over to the Sunshine Coast and hung out. So I had people to talk with, and I came back to Nova Scotia. And I still haven't found anybody from Nova Scotia, right? I have met a few people that have moved to Nova Scotia from Vancouver, funny enough, that work with, and just recently in the past couple of months that work with, things like cacao and sound healing. But I still haven't met, other people in this space that work with this, like, or have run off and done this. I have heard of a few ayahuasca people, but I have yet to meet them. I can't find them. It's really, really hard on this side of the country. And, I know that we've got a few, we must have a few, right? That's just, Nova Scotia's got to have at least, a couple of handfuls of people. But it's really hard to find them. It's still very massively underground here. I feel like I'm probably the loudest one in Nova Scotia about all of this stuff, right? And that makes it hard to talk to people, as you say. Like, once you've gone through, I sit down and I try to talk to my dad or my therapist, and they don't get it. If I sit there and I say to, the first conversation I had with you afterwards, I was just like, oh my God. So I closed my eyes and I was in it, and it was like, and that's all I had to say. And you knew exactly what I meant. But, anybody on the outside, they don't, right?
No, it's, and it's hard to explain. But seriously, it's the magic I'm seeing in what can be healed is mind-boggling to me. And the medicines speak different languages. They deal with different things. Different medicines work better for different people. Some medicines, they're not all for everybody. That's for sure. But depending on what's happened in your life and what you're trying to heal, what you're trying to address, ibogaine and iboga when it comes to addiction, and trauma, ayahuasca when it comes to dealing with traumas, the cannabis oils, the psilocybin when it comes to dealing with addiction, and mental health and trauma. There's just so much magic to be had there. And we've been educated so wrong on those medicines, even cannabis. My whole life growing up, all I heard was smoking cannabis, smoking weed, smoking pot, smoking. Well, that's a program in itself, good and bad. All the bad reviews that comes out, oh, people smoke pot. It's a program that pot is to be smoked. And that's a program that puts you to the point of where that's probably the least beneficial way that you can use this magical plant.
Exactly. And this is one of the most beneficial ways that we can use this magical plant.
Yes. But, I don't hear about that stuff until I'm in a news group and Rick Simpson is curing his cancer and talking about how the studies were happening.
You hear it through, and like nothing against these gummies because they're like best gummies in the world. But you hear about eating your cannabis via sugary treats.
Yeah. Yes, true.
Right? That's how we hear about taking, products like this. I mean, and I do the same. Like I'm a chocolatier. Like I make cannabis infused chocolates, but it's, unless I'm making it straight from cacao and making it with, all the proper stuff. Again, I am just basically coating my cannabis in sugar.
Yes. But it does taste like crap, and it's better if you can make it taste good. But not really, because it's better for you to put the raw oil under your tongue on the back so it activates all of the proper stomach acids to re-regulate and get your stomach working properly. Yeah. Right? And then you have all the proper digestive enzymes, all the proper stomach acids, that if you start eating some good healthy food in there, man, miracles happen. What they call miracles happen. It's like, no, you're healing. You're building your immune system. You're giving your system what it requires. And, the magic that's going on now that they've, discovered all the other cannabinoids, the data that's coming in on CBG, CBN. There's another one, Delta 8 and not 9. You look at the science that's being pumped out on how these things, like how good it is for you. Blaine, can you hear it on the podcast? Yeah. And then we got to fight to get the medical end. It's a fight to get the medical end. My friend Gene, he's 7.2 grams of oil a day to keep his liver cancer at bay. At one point it was 10 grams a day. Well, if you're trying to buy that from a store, you're going to be broke real freaking fast. You better go win the lotto. Like, that's ridiculous.
It is. It's ridiculous. Because, this is legacy, as you very well know. And this is 200 milligrams. So there's 10 pieces at 20 milligrams each. Really, really easy to take out a piece of these. They're just a nice little circular piece. You can cut it in half and cut each of the halves in half. If you want, you can take it down to 5 milligrams really quick if that's all you need. But to get this in the liquor store, well, and I say in the liquor store because that's what we have here in Nova Scotia. Our cannabis is in the liquor store. To get this in a legal store, let's just say, you're looking at about at least $10 per 10 milligrams. and you have to buy 20 separate packages at, $10-ish each once you've got taxes in there. So that would be $200 in a legal store. Ish.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, you can't afford to use it in a medicinal way, the way things are set up. It's ridiculous. And really the introductions shouldn't be pot smoking, pothead. Like I asked you the other day, what is that store officially called that you work in?
The name of the store is called Hemp Heaven, but the style of a store is called a head shop. I work in a head shop.
Yes, and it's like, well, hang on a second. If we're going to start putting up the hand and saying, hey, that those words make things look bad. Homeless to, what are they called now?
Unhomed.
Unhomed. Well, words make it look bad. Well, hey, you don't have to be a head to use cannabis. You might want to be somebody that's healing. So now you're calling that guy a head? Because head is kind of a society looking down on people, which is why they took it and ran with, yeah, I'm a head.
Yeah, like you were a hack, you were dumb, you were like a stoner, like, and it's the same as like our top end glass. I mean, what do we nickname it? Heady glass. So yeah, I work in a head shop. I call it a cannabis accessory store myself.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because I mean that's exactly what it is. It's a cannabis accessory and mystical store. Because we've got some mystical stuff in there too, right? And I'm learning more and more about that. Because I'm one of these people that I came along and I tried cannabis and somebody gave me a microdose and somebody invited me to a documentary where I learned about iboga. I wasn't introduced. I didn't learn about shamans. I didn't learn about Peru or the Amazon. I didn't learn about going down to Mexico. I didn't learn about Maria Sabina. I mean, that's not the path that I took. I was somebody who was in a closed off little room on her own, who was fighting going back to being an addict, who was fighting the urge to kill herself. And then all of a sudden I had iboga put in front of me. And I followed that path. So I have followed more of the clinical path of things. And now that I'm studying, I'm learning more. Like I learned a lot from being friends with you. Like, I mean, that's where I've learned about Maria Sabina. That's where I've learned about a lot of different things. And, and now that I'm taking courses, now that I'm taking courses, I'm learning a lot more. And that's why I find the course that I'm taking right now very overwhelming, because they start talking about all of these people in the space. And like, I'm sitting there going, I'm supposed to know who this person is. Everybody else is going, oh yeah, he's awesome. And I'm like, because I have no idea. Right. But now I'm hooked on this dude. Oh yeah. Hamilton. I can't wait to go watch all of his documentaries. They're like, I mean, the first one was mind blowing. He does a really great job at it. Like he bounces back and forth between things. He had humor in this one because he was making fun of himself for being wrong a year before that. Like, hey, I made a mistake. Let's make it right. And so he's out there admitting to like his mistake and how he came across the mistake and how he could have done a better job to make sure he didn't make that mistake. I mean, but he was doing it in a comical way. Like, he made himself look like a hermit. He had on this, he's like a very cut, well-shaven man. And he had on a wig. He had on a wig, and they glued on this great big beard onto him and whatnot. And they had him looking like he had been, a hermit, stashed away for years because he had made a mistake and he was off thinking about it. It was fucking hilarious. And, and then, he went into explaining his mistake and telling the real story once he admitted it. And the mistake was, and it was actually about Albert Most. Some of you may know who that is. Some of you may not. Albert Most was, he wrote a pamphlet years ago back in the 80s. About Bufo alvarius, which is actually the wrong name for the toad, as I've now learned. It's called the Ancilius alvarius. It's not the Bufo alvarius. But it is what it is. But he came across the Encelius avarius when he had learned about it, and then came across it in Mexico, and he picked up a toad and he milked it onto his windshield of all places and let it dry in the sun, and then scraped it up and vaped, or actually smoked, because he did it in a pipe. So like it would have been smoked versus vaped. Smoked the Encelius alvarius, even though he called it bufo at the time. And he was the first person to ever do that. Like, this is, in the medicine that I am now studying, this is our God, Albert Moss, which is actually Ken Nelson. Like, he is our dude. I am learning. He is the guy that, did it first. He is the guy, that, figured it out about the toads first. This Hamilton guy, this new gentleman I'm now following. You are still muted, my friend. This Hamilton gentleman, he's the person that learned how to properly synthesize it and compared or extracted, or whatever you want to call it, make the pure molecule. He learned how to do that and compared it to the original bufo. And found out that they were actually identical and whatnot. And then he was the person that started talking about that at the first, what was it? The World Bufo Conference. It was actually called something different. The World Bufo Alvarius Conference, I think it was, back in, I think it was 2017 or 2018, and it was held in Mexico City. And that was pretty amazing. And that was the first that a lot of people who smoked the natural bufo had learned about the pure molecule. And now it is becoming a thing because, conservation of the toad is really where it's at. And Hamilton also he republicized Ken's pamphlet after he passed away in 2019. And he redid that, and he added in his recipe for extracting it and ending up with a pure molecule. Whew, I've learned a lot and retained shit. Look at me, I'm all impressed.
You're done. You're gonna graduate.
So yeah, it's been really interesting to learn a lot of this stuff, because I've only been trying to pick things up. I am the newbie in my little group. Like everybody else that's in my group, they know of all of these shamans and a lot of this stuff. And
I want to know Buddy's thought process. Hey,
yeah, Ken Nelson,
milk a little bit onto my window, and when it dries up, I'll scrape her up and smoke it. Like, that's a common thought when you see a toad.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, well,
in
the episode of the docu, like, because Hamilton does a docu series, he's got a whole series, right? And it was season 2, episode 1 that he aired the wrong. So it was season 3, episode 1 that he admitted his wrongdoing, and he aired the truth about Albert Moss being actually Ken Nelson. And he actually, 2 months before Ken passed, he got to go sit down with him and interview him, which is just, spectacular.
One day, I hope that somebody says, yeah, I got to interview Steve right before he passed away. It was.
I'm going to talk to you every day in an interview stance, and then I'll be able to say that no matter what. They're done. Making your dreams come true, my friend.
Oh, man.
So I'm going to show off next week's giveaway for a second. There are stickers, as always. I love my stickers, and I love to share my stickers. So we have cannabis stickers. We have heart stickers, because you have to run around and show your love. And we have mushroom stickers, as always. There is a pack of Gizeh papers, because they are just the best. And if I'm going to share papers, I'm going to share Gizehs. We also have, I still have some of these t-shirts left. So a t-shirt is going in the mix, the Dabber.
How come that looks like Al?
It does, doesn't it? But it's not. It's actually a friend of his. Al gave me the shirts, though.
Oh, that's awesome.
And, we are at the point where the days are getting longer, so growing season is on its way. Sunshine is on its way. Warmer weather is on its way. Longer days are on their way. Every day is longer than the day before now, and that's a reason to celebrate, and that's a reason to get ready for growing season. So coming to you from a Scallywag Seed Company, I am giving away some Moonshine OG, which is a cross of Blue Moonshine and Topagani Canyon OG. None of these strains I know, but I do know that Scallywag seeds are really amazing seeds. So,
Arg.
arg. And because we had Steve here, and I have shown these off a couple of times, just in case you don't know, this gentleman right here creates these gummies. And if you haven't seen it, I had a post up the other day, and I think I was showing off the Very Cherry gummies. And you know, my comment was, these are the best gummies I have ever tried. And I mean that. I have judged, close to a dozen competitions now, if not more. I used to try and create these on my own. I have tried all of the legacies I can get my hands on. I've even through gifts have tried some of the legal side of gummies. And these, my friends, are the best gummies I have tried to date. They have the right consistency. They have the right texture. They're always good. They are coated with just enough sugar. They are just sour enough, or not sour enough if you have the sweet ones. And they're always consistent with their dosage as well. This gentleman right here really does know what he's doing. And because he decided to join me, we're going to give away a pack of his gummies in this. Well, it'll be given away next week, to be honest. And we are giving away, I do have another one of these in my fridge, so I don't feel bad about it. We are giving away my favorite flavor, which is the lime and blast. And there is something special about this particular bag of gummies.
I got that cataract fixed.
He got his cataracts fixed, and you know, he will be able to read much better. But did you all know that a package of pistachio jello and a package of lime jello are the same color? And if you're got a bad cataract and you can't read, it's hard to distinguish between the two. Steve knows that now. So if you are the winner of these, and you taste them and you're like, there's something more than citrus in here, you will be right. It is slightly pistachio tasting. But it is mostly the lime in taste. And actually, that tiny little bit of pistachio that's in there is very good with them.
No, I can't come up with another flavor.
You might have just created something new. Lime pistachio gummies. Mm.
Well, I tell you, the spazberry, the strawberry, the strawberry blast ones, the spazberry, and the bubbleberry, the strawberry bubblegum, or those ones just seem to make people go, "Oh my, yeah, the bubbleberry, yeah, that strawberry bubblegum." That's actually my favorite right there.
These are very, very good. These are actually what I have on the go right now. They are one of my favorites, but I really do. I'm a lemon lime girl, and those are just so good. The lemon ones are my absolute favorite. They're just perfect. But honestly, I like them all. I mean, to be honest.
Thanks for the shout out. That's awesome. Thank you.
Well, no, thank you for coming on. And just one more time, why don't you just, that's still going on the bottom.
There we go.
Yeah, we'll just before I do the actual giveaway from this week, let's talk about this Aya Healing Retreat one more time.
Yeah, this is it's through my friend Lisa that hosted my retreat down there as well, and it's going to Madre Verde, just outside of Puerto Morales, You get the sacred tobacco ceremony one night, then you get a night of ayahuasca, you get a day off of integration, socialization. Um,
Massage therapy.
yeah, I'm going to the what do you call it? It's the cenotes, um, the sound healing. Like it's just magical. Being in that place in the jungle was magical. Going to the cenote was magical. Doing the medicine was life changing. And honestly, I can't recommend it enough. It's
Yeah.
I just can't recommend it enough. So if you've been thinking about it, if ayahuasca has been calling you and you want to go to somewhere safe, you want to experience it, for the first time, you don't speak Spanish. Lisa speaks Spanish. She communicates just fine. And I can't say enough. Please get a hold of her. They don't have these every weekend. This isn't something they put on every weekend. they hold ceremonies now and then, and these ones here where it's an actual retreat where you're getting the tobacco with the two ceremonies, and they've added a day on, and I actually should have looked up what the day is, because I'm not actually positive, and I apologize for that. But
it is. You sent it to me, actually. It is Thursday, the 8th of February to Monday, the 12th of February. It was originally the 11th of February.
Yes, but I don't know if they've added a ceremony or something in, because now I noticed they've got the sound healing and etc. So I'm assuming that's in on those extra days that are in.
Yeah.
But it's I can't say enough. Yeah, go there, find your magic, find out, what find your peace, your calm in the chaos. It's
so there you go. And this information is on the Mushy Moment page. I know you're watching Tokin Talk, but it is on the Mushy Moment page. I will make sure to share it to my page as well, so it's there, and it is on Steve's page as well as in your microdosing room too, isn't it?
I believe it is. If not, I'll share it there too.
Okay. So and if not, just reach out. I'll get you the information. It's pretty easy. We have right now we have her stuff going across the bottom. But I need to get to this week's giveaway, which of course is a Dabber t-shirt. It's a blue one. Look, still looks like Al. We have some stickers, of course. I always have stickers. We have some cannabis stickers, and we have some mushroom stickers. I just love stickers. I love stickers. And some heart stickers and some Gizeh papers because, well, I just love Gizehs. So we've got some Gizeh papers. These actually came via Asia May Moon, who is putting together the second 420 cup that just about killed me, the first one. Because it was hard. Yes, I saw that. Thank you for talking to us. Now you're allowed to put stuff up.
I didn't mean to put it up. I was going to try and answer, and I touched it, and it came up. And I went, oh. I was looking where to type to answer back.
Oh, okay.
But you're welcome now that I can say that.
There you go. Yeah.
It's my pleasure. This is awesome.
And then we are giving away some, we're coming up. I've got all of these seeds, and we might as well look forward to growing season during the coldest couple of months of the year. Remember, the days are getting longer, even if it's only by a few seconds every day. So we are giving away some derailed genetics this time. And it is called Unanswered Prayers. It's a cross between a plant called Life Hack and a Heartbreaker. And I have stored all these seeds very, very well up until pulling them out to give them away. So they should all be absolutely wonderful. Now we are going to bring up this dude because this is the dude that we press the button to see who wins. So you ready?
Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Whee!
Leona's winning. Yay!
Congratulations, Leona.
That's awesome. Leona has, I've known Leona since I did a different evening show a couple years ago, and she has stuck with me the entire time, which is pretty cool. And I actually got to meet her on my drive across Canada when I brought back the first fan that ended up blowing up in Nova Scotia.
Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations, Leona.
Yes,
that's
congratulations.
Awesome.
Very lovely lady. We're very, very happy for her. And I know I've got your address around here. Hey, it's been that long. Yeah, last summer when I drove through. Absolutely. So congratulations. Congratulations, Leona. I've gone 10 minutes over. Thankfully, that's not a problem now. I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me. Thank you so much, Steve, for coming on. It was exciting to share this information with you. I'm kind of glad that you kind of forgot to mention it on the Mushy Moment and joined me today. That is pretty awesome. So thank you so much for coming. Thanks for joining me here on paceradio.net and cbgtv.com. I am Reverend Cindy. This is Tokin Talk. And I'll see you next week. Bye.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.